Welcome back, guys. We are playing Kerbal Space Program. This is Sporks in space. Bit of an update, guys. Again, my sound wasn't being recorded. I figured that out. I got that straightened out for the next episodes, whatnot. But we are in space. We are in orbit around Kerbal. I decided to go ahead and just cut the footage down into half. That's what we got going on right now. As you can see, I'm just getting ready to line up my lunar injection burn. And again, great help from you guys that posted comments on here, and the guys that responded to me in the Kerbal Space Program forums. I posted in quick responses, very helpful, very nice people. And you guys, again, that comment here, big things. It helped me out tremendously. We were able to get in orbit, no problems. I know that I am tilting either way too early or way too late, so I want to aim between, I believe, one of the commenters said 15 and 30k. I want to get my apoapsis above orbit, or above the atmosphere. Then I can cut engines until I get closer, and I want to do it once I'm around 30 degrees or so. I want to be pointing at 45, or not 30 degrees, 30 kilometers, be pointing at about 45 degrees or so, and then just follow my prograde marker, which I call my direction travel, which a lot of people do. I don't know the correct terms for this stuff, guys, but so yeah, I'm lining up for the lunar injection here. Still having a little trouble. I think it's a little top heavy. I need to put some RCS thrusters on the bottom of this on this stage, so I can have a little bit more control. But that's, things that we can definitely increase. I want to put more fuel on this stage and the lunar stage, or sorry, lunar stage, because as you can see, I'm down to a little bit more than a tank here. But we get into orbit fine with that, and I still have a little bit left over for the retrograde burn to actually get on the surface. And as you'll see, I want you guys to let me know how I do with my approach and my landing attempt on the moon. I don't want to give anything away right now because your work, is coming out. We're about to see it, but definitely need some pointers on that. I know there's a lot of things I messed up and could be doing better. I just don't know how yet. So, but as you can see, we're getting. I keep throttling back to conserve fuel because it gets easier and easier to push your apoapsis out the farther it gets. So I throttle down and I'm monitoring it, and all of a sudden, boom! I get this. I've had this happen before, and I was able to get it orbit fine. So I was like, you know what? I'll leave it. And what I was saying right here in the actual video. Is I've heard that the yellow segment, the lunar, what is it called? I can't remember. The lunar intersection, or what is it called? Maybe it shows right here. No, that's just the periapsis. That's the escape if you don't catch the orbit. I can't remember what it's actually called, but I heard that the yellow segment, you want to have it as long as possible to give you as much time as possible to get your orbit or your descent lined up. So I didn't want to shrink it as much as possible, and I'm getting ready for the moon to come around. Getting a little nervous at this point, not gonna lie, but it's coming in, and you'll see. Once it gets to where the little yellow moon marker is, boom, it turns from a yellow trajectory to a blue. I'm assuming that's because that's what the actual trajectory at this moment is, and the other yellow one, the big one that goes around Kerbin, sorry, that's what it will be if you don't, do anything, if you don't make any changes to your heading or your course. And as you can see, as I'm adjusting the blue line, the yellow one also gets adjusted. And then you see we're running very low on fuel with this stage. I'm monitoring that as close as I can. I'm doing a very slow burn. Because it doesn't take that much fuel at this point to change these trajectories, these orbit paths. Very appropriate music at this point. And I'm using music from Kevin MacLeod, I believe is the way you pronounce it, in Compotech.com. I'll be leaving links to his website in the description. But as of right now, you know, very little fuel, almost full RCS. But the way I have it lined up is the trajectory is actually intersecting with the moon at this point. And I decided to go ahead and go with that and adjust it slow, you know, a little bit here and there once we get closer, to make sure that we actually do have a decent line to follow. So you see right here, I'm correcting a little bit, trying to get it not that shallow. There's no atmosphere to slow us down, so I want it, you know, pretty much a straight shot. I don't want to have to make too many corrections to the actual direction of travel. I want to be pretty much heading straight down towards the surface. I'm assuming that's correct. You'll see how it worked out here in a second, but and then I go ahead and speed time back up. I'm pretty satisfied with everything the way it looks right here. And I decided to wait till I'm about 80 kilometers above the surface before I start making any huge corrections to the speed or whatnot. I'm trying to save as much fuel as I can to, you know, get as close as I can without heading too fast. And our current trajectory will put us right above that big crater you see that we're pretty much inside the limits of right now. So just give you an idea of where we're headed. Just checking stats. I really don't know how to fidget with anything. At this point you see me using my RCS thrusters. We have almost a full tank. I figured we can use some of that to help us slow our descent, but then I realized that it's really not making that big of a difference and we're wasting a lot of fuel, so I eventually stop. I mean, it is slowing us down, but by the time, if I kept doing this, we'd run out well before we got to the surface, and I decided to go ahead and just wait till we get closer to make any kind of adjustments to the speed. Keep checking. Yep, that's where I'm saying that we're going to be landing past the crater, which is absolutely fine to me. I had no set plans on anywhere trying to land. But as you'll see when we get closer, we do land relatively close to one of the arches that I've seen in other videos around YouTube and the internet, which I thought was pretty cool. I had no idea we were even coming close, and that very soon I'll notice it. You see me slow down time. Oh, I haven't noticed it yet, but I don't know if you guys can see it yet. It is right to the left of the ship on the edge of that smaller crater. I'm getting ready to jettison that. Yep, it's dead weight at this point. I have no fuel left in it, which is kind of bad because I really didn't want to use this fuel yet. So that's why I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead. Another thing they said on the forums is, as of right now, the game, it really doesn't matter aerodynamic wise if you put things on the side. There, I noticed it. Yeah, see me noticing it. I'm like, what is that? What is that? Once we get closer, you can see it's the actual arc. But say if I put 3 or 4 small fuel tanks around the outside, I'm pointing at the screen, you can see me. That's not very helpful, but put 3 or 4 small fuel tanks with radial decouplers around the lander and just hook up fuel lines, and maybe put the lander legs on that. Then just put an extra fuel tank on the actual stage we just jettisoned, maybe we'll have plenty of fuel. And what they're saying on the forums is that the game, as of right now, aerodynamically doesn't differentiate with things like that. That it will still be just as aerodynamic for the time being. Hopefully that'll be changed. But I can make my rocket smaller and wider and make it more stable and not affect the aerodynamics that much. So I think we're going to go ahead and do a redesign. And the next time we record, we'll go ahead and redesign it and get a little bit more stable platform. But as you can see, I'm getting you can see the arc a little bit better, but I'm getting a little nervous right now. We're about 7.5 kilometers above the surface. And we're feels like our Kerbals are in a good mood at this point. Just approaching, trying to conserve as much fuel as possible. Right now we have a little bit more than half of a tank, and I really hope that's enough to get back. I haven't tried yet. This is just the landing attempt in this video. We're coming in. I'm checking everything. I'm trying to keep my direction of travel pointed directly at the retrograde marker on the nav ball. And I don't see my shadow yet. And right here I'm saying that I don't want to make the same mistake that I did on our first approach to the moon, where I thought, 1,500 meters, I got plenty of time. And I smacked it at about 1,400 meters above the surface and was going way too fast and just exploded. So I'm definitely burning. I'm watching it. My direction of travel started headed back up, my vertical speed. So I reduced throttle. Another thing I was saying at this point is it would be really nice to have some sort of radar, LiDAR, some sort of way to detect the distance of the surface away. And I'm looking for my shadow at this point, getting very nervous. 1,400 meters, this is about the same area that we smacked the surface of the moon last time. I'm getting very antsy. Coming in, I see my shadow. This is where I start panicking. And you can see my vertical speed is okay, but my horizontal speed. And I don't want to panic and mash your own button or press anything, so I'm just trying to reduce my speed. And you see a leg come off and explode, and I thought that was the end. But as you can see, we come to a rest on 3 legs, and I am ecstatic. But guys, thanks for watching. There's more to come. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, but stay tuned, more to come.